Hi everyone, my name is Lauren and I'm a registered dietitian. In today's video, I wanted to share my kind of dietitian story, how I got interested in nutrition, the university programs I took, where I'm working now, the processes where I volunteered, kind of my whole career path journey up to this point. So I'll be chatting about what sparked my interest in nutrition all the way back in high school, my undergraduate and graduate programs, my volunteer experience, and writing the CDRE, the Canadian Dietetic Registration Exam. So I'll be covering kind of all of those topics. So if you are a dietitian and you want to hear someone else's story, or if you're interested in becoming a dietitian or just interested in the field of nutrition, then this video is for you. I'm going to be sharing my just personal experiences, and hopefully it can help give you some insight into this career path. If you have any questions that come up or anything else that you want to know, please feel free to comment on my video. I would love to answer any questions. I love talking about the career path. And also, please subscribe to my channel and also check me out on TikTok and Instagram at Bite and Bloom. So the story starts in high school, and honestly probably even earlier than high school. But I've always had a love of cooking. I've loved cooking with my family, making delicious meals. I've loved baking with my mom. And then in high school, I loved my fitness classes. So we would do weight training and running. And then as part of that, there was different health units, and one of those was nutrition. So through that, I became interested in nutrition. And also my fitness teacher just really inspired myself and my whole class to just want to live our healthiest life, be our healthiest self, and make healthy choices that help us to feel our best and to feel strong. And that really inspired me and made me want to be able to do that for other people. So I started researching career paths. I'm in grade 12. I'm trying to figure out what the heck to do with the rest of my life. And I start researching different career paths, and something that I kept seeing was nutrition and dietetics and the career path of becoming a dietitian. From the moment I saw this career path and saw the different types of courses that were offered, the different avenues you could take this career, it kind of had me hooked, and I then started looking for university programs to apply to. So this was in December of 2018, I believe. That was a pretty stressful time, I will say, applying to university programs. I applied to the University of Guelph's applied human nutrition program, and then I applied to Ryerson, now TMU's nutrition program as well. And maybe I also applied to Western, which was Brescia back then. But ultimately, I am not a city girl, so at this point, Toronto was not my first choice. And I went to visit the University of Guelph's campus, and I just fell in love. It felt like home. Everyone on campus was so nice. The campus was beautiful. I really liked their program, and so I ended up getting accepted to U of G, and that's where I went, and I'm so happy with that decision. I really liked the University of Guelph program because it mixed sciences with social sciences and food classes, so I feel like I was able to just get a really good overview of a lot of different topics and a lot of good education. And then throughout my time there, I made some amazing friends throughout my program. I lived in something called an academic cluster. So they put a bunch of us in the same degree. So mine was applied science, all together in a residence. I lived in South Mountain Residence. If you go to University of Guelph, you know what I'm talking about. But I became friends with a bunch of people in the program, which I really liked. So I always like to recommend to choose to be in an academic cluster if you're staying in residence, because it was really nice making friends that are going to the same classes as me and have similar interests. And I found honestly similar lifestyles as well. And then throughout my time at the University of Guelph, I did some volunteering because it is kind of a big thing in the dietetics stream to have some good volunteer and work experience on your resume when you're thinking about applying to jobs in the future and applying to master's programs. So I volunteered with the University of Guelph's University of Guelph's Student Nutrition Awareness Program. So through that, we were running events on campus, making social media posts, making blog posts, all related to nutrition, specifically nutrition for first-year students. And then eventually I ended up working as the coordinator and assistant coordinator for the SNAP program, which was such an amazing experience. And then I also volunteered with a walk and run club. And then I was also in a sorority, which allowed me so many volunteer opportunities. I know what you might be thinking when you hear the word sorority, but it was honestly very philanthropic based. So our philanthropy was children's literacy. So we would raise money for children's literacy and have different events surrounding that. We would have sisterhoods where we would get together and watch movies or do crafts and form connections with each other. And then also there was a lot of volunteer opportunities. So I can't remember the specific titles now, but I ran the social media for a bit. I ran the new member classes, so getting to know all the new members in the sorority and kind of guiding them through that process is another thing that I did. And that was a really good leadership experience for me that got me comfortable and confident talking in front of groups, leading projects, so I really had a good time in those experiences. And also, we just can't forget to shout out the University of Guelph food. It is elite, it is delicious. It's the best and I miss it every day, honestly. And something that I will say in university is it can be so easy to get caught up in getting perfect grades and getting perfect exam scores, and obviously you are there to learn and that is the priority. But I just want to put this out as a reminder, if you're in that era right now, that it's really important to give yourself grace, give yourself time to recharge, give yourself time to be with friends and make friends, because it really is kind of like an all-encompassing experience. And while you are there for school, you deserve to enjoy your time and be patient with yourself, because I know it can be a lot at times. I came to my 4th year at U of G and it was time to apply to master's programs for dietetics. So there's only a few accredited programs in Ontario. Guelph has one and TMU has one. And then there's also some internship programs as well through TMU, Brescia. U of T has a master's program. I'm just thinking of the ones I know off the top of my head, but I ended up only applying to TMU and Guelph because those were the programs that I was most interested in and also the areas that I was kind of most interested in living. And my kind of philosophy was that if I didn't get into either, it just wasn't meant to be, and I would try again next year because those were the 2 programs that I really wanted. So my tips for applying to master's programs is to start the application process early because there are a lot of pieces to the puzzle, and also to get your application reviewed. So I got mine reviewed by our career advisor at University of Guelph, our program career advisor. And it was honestly so helpful to get her feedback, make edits, get her feedback again and make more edits. So that way when I handed it in and submitted it, I felt really confident and like it couldn't have been any better. So I highly recommend that. So I was lucky enough and very grateful to have had interviews at both Guelph and TMU. And they were in the style of a multiple mini interview. So both of mine were on Zoom. So how it worked was you would join one breakout room, there would be a question, you would have time to read the question and then answer the question with the interviewer in the room. And then you would hop from room to room. I think there was about 5 rooms per interview. And in preparation for that, honestly, I just kind of did mock questions and would get so comfortable talking to myself out loud, talking to myself in the mirror, answering questions to my friends about why I wanted to be in the program, why I want to be a dietitian, why I'm a good fit, where I see my career going, things like that, and just getting really comfortable being able to also summarize my resume succinctly out loud were things that I did to prepare for interviews. So again, very grateful that I was offered a position in both the MAN program and the TMU program, MHSC program. And sorry, MAN stands for Masters of Applied Nutrition, and MHSC at TMU stands for Master of Health Science. And that one was specifically in nutrition communication. So ultimately, I ended up choosing TMU for the MHSC program. As much as I loved Guelph as a city and as a school, I felt the TMU program just aligned with me a little bit better in terms of the setup of the program. So it was 2 semesters of coursework and 2 semesters of placement. In just finishing undergrad, I honestly did not feel ready personally to dive right into placements. So I liked having that buffer of 2 semesters of coursework. And then also the program when I took it was 2 days a week in Toronto. And so for me, that was easily commutable. So I was able to live at home and save some extra money in the post-grad era. Then we had 2 semesters of coursework in the program that covered so many different classes. Very different vibes to undergrad. In undergrad, I really felt like it was a lot of, you're trying to memorize and absorb information to pass exams. But in this master's program, there were no exams. So you could really just sit, absorb information. It was very discussion based, so have thoughtful discussions with your peers and classmates, which I really enjoyed that kind of learning style. Courses were very communications based, but not just in the sense of like social media and media, which is what I can think of when I hear the word communications. There was aspects of those types of courses, but we also did literature reviews and knowledge translation, health behavior classes, things like that. So there was a really wide range of courses that I really enjoyed. And then in terms of my placements, when I took the program, it was a pretty collaborative experience between the students and the practicum coordinators. So I ended up having my placements at a diabetes center for outpatient experience, at a hospital for inpatient experience in both rehabilitation and medicine and ICU floors/units. I had a food service and management placement with a food literacy organization for children. And then I also had experience in inpatient and outpatient adolescent eating disorder units as well. So I had a really wide variety of placement experiences. I honestly had great preceptors, and I'm really happy with the experiences I got in my placements. And then any advice for this section would be to really give yourself grace. Placements are tough. You are trying to be a student and learn so much, and also a professional and a almost dietitian at the same time. So it can be a lot all at once. So that is definitely a period to be patient with yourself and give yourself grace, because it is a lot. So don't be too hard on yourself if you're in that era or entering into that era. And then I finished the master's program in December 2023. I took a few weeks off to relax, recuperate after being in school for 6 years, 5.5 years. And I applied for my temporary license as a dietitian, which I got right around Christmas time, which was a awesome Christmas gift. So I was able to call myself officially a registered dietitian in December of 2023. But I had one more task, one more step, which was writing the Canadian Dietetic registration exam. And so that would be coming in May 2024. So from December to May, I was studying part-time and then also working part-time at the food literacy organization where I had my placement. So that was a really good balance for me because the position is remote. So I was able to easily kind of balance working, making some income, working for an organization I'm really passionate about in a project that I'm really passionate about, and then also putting lots of time into studying for the CDRE. Some other kind of tidbits is that throughout my time in placements and in the MHSC program, I worked as a virtual assistant, a virtual social media assistant for 2 registered dietitians. And I found that was a really good role for me to have to, again, create some source of income, gain experience in the field, but it was also really flexible, again, being remote. So I was able to manage that okay, but I know that some people, it's really up to you, up to your placement schedule, your time management skills, organization of whether or not having a part-time job during placements and during your practicum experiences or master's programs is suitable for you or not. So I studied and studied for the CDRE, and then thankfully, I'm so grateful, I ended up passing on my first try. So then I became an officially general licensed registered dietitian. And then after studying for the CDRE, I started working at a hospital part-time and then also continuing with the food literacy organization part-time. It did take some time to get the hospital position. I was a little bit picky with where I was applying to in terms of units that I wanted to work on and roles that I found I might enjoy. And I will say it was quite challenging to obtain a full-time position. I'm still working part-time at 2 different places, but really I've found it can be a challenge to get a full-time permanent position. A lot of jobs that you might work initially could be covering maternity leaves or contract positions that are temporary before being able to settle into a full-time dietitian position. And then I like working in the clinical and community setting right now because I feel like it kind of gives me the best of both worlds. I'm able to be creative in one role and kind of flex different parts of my brain, I guess, than in the clinical role, which is a lot more fast-paced and obviously a totally different experience than working on food literacy projects for children. So I like that I'm able to do both, but it also is a bit challenging to manage and kind of flip-flop in between 2 totally different roles. So it's in a balance for sure that I'm still trying to get the hang of. And I posted on my Instagram story if anyone had any questions pertaining to this topic. So I wanted to answer some of those. So I've kind of answered a few throughout the video, but one that was asked was, what is the most challenging part of being a dietitian? For me personally, so far, it has definitely been kind of dealing with imposter syndrome and trusting my clinical judgment. I feel like we've been working in school for so long, we've been getting feedback from preceptors and supervisors, and that is so amazing, but to actually be able to step into the field and have your own responsibilities and you're doing things without a preceptor kind of signing off on everything that you do, I feel like it is a bit of a challenging transition because on one hand, you've worked so hard, you've got all this knowledge, experience from your placements, so it feels like you should be really confident, but then having to actually do things on your own without someone's approval all the time has actually been a bit of a difficult transition for me. So something that I'm working through, but that's what I'm finding a more challenging part of being a dietitian right now, especially a brand new dietitian. I like to say that I'm 0 years old in my career. And then I wanted to end off by sharing what I think is the best part of being a dietitian. And for me, it's being able to help facilitate positive changes in people's lives. So at the hospital, it's, a quick visit trying to provide some good nutrition information, encouraging the patients, seeing someone's weight go up or their wound heal or something like that is a really rewarding experience. Then on the other hand, in my other role, helping kids learn to cook and seeing their confidence soar throughout the length of the food literacy program is amazing. So definitely being a part of those positive changes in people's lives is the best part of being a dietitian, in my opinion. That's all I have for today's video. I hope it gave a good overview of my kind of dietetic story, some good insights. Hopefully it wasn't too jumbled and all over the place. I was kind of jumping back and forth a little bit. But I'm always happy to chat about the career path again, my experiences, my programs I've been in. So feel free to leave any comments below or message me on Instagram or TikTok and let me know if you'd want to see more videos like this in depth about my programs, my placements, anything. I'm always happy to chat about it. So thank you so much for watching.